Hey you guys, this is Rafael from Relics.com. I hope you guys are doing well. Things are good here. Most of the people that have corona are getting a little better. So I hope that if you have it, that you hang in there and get better, because we need you, everybody that we can. Today we're going to talk about one of the pieces from the Civil War that to me have always been kind of in a league of their own, because they look a little different than almost anything that you'll see. It's the sword for the U.S. medical service or medical staff. They are very distinctive. They're a simple sword, but beautifully designed. The swords have a cast brass handle that's actually made in multiple pieces. On the handle, we've got, like this, we've got the Union Eagle, and it's just a nice big eagle, very clear. And that's on the main part of the handle. The cap up on top, this one is made like a flower. You'll see them where they're made like an acorn, a flower. There are several little subtle designs, and that's one thing I like about these. You can have 20 of them, they'll all be different. This one has the standard brass crossguard. It's very simple, very stylish, and in the center of it, it has the applied German silver MS for medical staff, medical service. The letters are kind of interesting because they use this same exact sword, a little bit different etching, but the same sword itself for the pay department. And instead of the MS, they'll have a PD. I had one of those last week, but it sold quickly enough that I didn't have a chance to get it. And thank you, because that's a good thing. But it'll have MS and on the crossguard. There'll be several different variations of the MS. The styling of the letters, this one really fancy. Some of them will be simple. There'll be a few that are actually cast into the brass. You don't see those as often, but you do see them. It's one of the few swords that, if it's in good enough shape, you can take apart, because the little acorn at the top is what holds everything together. You can take that off, and we got just a second, so we'll do this, and I'll show you something really cool underneath. Because the sword, let's talk about the retailer. Sword has this marking. It's Schuyler, Hartley, and Graham. Schuyler, Hartley, and Graham was one of the most famous retailers of the Civil War for high-end military goods. They were on the league with Tiffany, things like that. They actually, in 1864, made one thing that has helped collectors so much over the years. They made a catalog, a military catalog, and it's been reprinted several times. This is the book, like that. A lot of different covers because they reprinted it in hardbound. They've done a softbound copy of it. But if you flip onto this page, like this, you can see the medical staff. And this is actually one of the swords that would have been ordered out of one of these type catalogs by Schuyler, Hartley, and Graham. But Schuyler, Hartley, and Graham was a retailer most of the time. Where was the sword actually made? If the sword's in good shape, you can take that acorn off, you can take the handle off, the crossguard comes off, and voila, what do we see? We see this. And underneath there, on this little space, which is called the ricasso, we have the famous mark of the French Klingenthal armory. A lot of things were made in Europe and brought over because they had made edged weapons and quality pieces, high-end pieces forever. And so it comes over, Schuyler, Hartley, and Graham etches it, sells it. So, made in France, sold in New York, well-to-do little northern boy. We put the handle back together. And the one thing you always want to be careful of, those threads, this is brass, and it will cross-thread really easily on you. So if when you put it on, it doesn't turn easily that first few times, quit it, because you're about to mess it up. So we get that all put back together perfectly. Ta-da! And more about the blade. It's got floral, got patriotic, got all kinds of engravings on it. It's got the big MS like this. It's just a pretty blade. It's full length, 29 1/2 inches. You'll see a little bit of variation on the length of the blades. It's accompanied by the original scabbard. These scabbards bend very easily because they're made of brass all over. They have 2 pieces of wood on the inside of it to kind of line it. And most of the time that's gone. These are there. Came out when I was working on it, but it's still there. It has the original hangers. A lot of times the hanger can get broken or missing. On the lower part of the sword, we got the drag. So it's a pretty sword all the way around. One of the most famous retailers, very high quality maker. They're a great thing to collect because if you like little variations, you can see them made by several different makers, home and abroad. Great sword. They're pretty and they've always been popular. I've had a lot of them over the years because I like them and I look for them. This one's on ShilohRelics.com right now. If you go on there, I've got pictures of it from every angle, got a full description of it. And there's a lot more on there. I just returned from, a very, very snowy trip to Wisconsin. Went to Wisconsin and got a U-Haul truck and a Tahoe full of stuff. A lot of stuff. So, and I'm not going to tell you what it is this time. You're going to have to watch the website to see it because there's a little bit of everything. I think everybody can find something that they like out of this last 2 loads that I've brought. I hope you all are doing well. Today is an anniversary of a tough thing for me. 5 years ago, I took someone that I love to Florida to rehab. And if you've ever had to deal with a loved one in rehab, it's a horrible thing because you can't see them every day. You're hoping that they're getting better. You're hoping optimistically that that things are getting better, and you just don't know. And the hope is what got them there to start with, and the hope is what kept you going through it. Whether it's alcohol or whether it's drugs or, in this case, prescription drugs. It's a hard thing. And the reason I tell you this is because there aren't many choices when you have a loved one that is struggling with addiction, whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs. And we had hit that point where we were just reaching at straws. There was... I had no faith in anything. I had no real hope, but I kept going. And the reason I tell you this is that if you are struggling with addiction, or if you are with someone that is struggling with addiction, don't be afraid to ask for help because I've seen it work. I've got friends that have been sober 20, 30 years and their lives have changed. I've had friends that didn't survive that struggle. I've had loved ones that didn't survive that struggle. But unless you try, you'll never know. And if you are struggling with all that, it can only get better. Because if it's bad enough that you are seeing it, you are making life miserable for those around you. But so take stock in your life, look around, see what's going on. If you need help, there's nothing the matter with asking for help. Hell, it's a shame more people don't, because there's some wonderful people that have the biggest, brightest hearts that struggle with addiction and can't fulfill their purpose because of that addiction. And I hope that you guys, if you are struggling with that, ask for help. I tell you all the time, there's no shame in asking for help. Never, ever. All of us need help. After I needed help, and I reached out, and a friend of mine's wife had been through addiction, and she helped get my friend that I loved so much into rehab. And it worked. It didn't work for the long term, but it worked for a little while. And so reach out, try. Hell, there ain't no problem in trying. And if you try, you just might succeed, and it might save your life. And I know that if you can do it, that it will make the life of those around you better, because addiction is a horrible thing that hits way too many people. I hope that you guys are well. I hope that you know that somebody cares about you. Never feel like you are alone. All of us feel like we're alone at times, but remember there's people out there that care. Sometimes you got to reach out and find them because sometimes they just won't come to you. But hope you guys are well. Hope you have a great day. Remember that people love you, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to go on to ShilohRelics.com, look around, because I appreciate you guys for taking the time to do it. You've made this year a tremendous year and the crappiest year that I can recall. Business-wise, you guys have made it wonderful, and I'm thankful. I hope y'all have a great day. Love you guys.